3 random reviews. Alright, so recently I've watched 3 movies that I've never seen before. They're not new, they're just old movies. I've seen them on Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, whatever, but I thought I'd do a little review on those 3 things that I've watched. So the first film I watched was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I'd heard about this before. This movie's from 2004. It's like a romance movie, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a try because I heard it's pretty good. So yeah, as I said, this is a romance film. It's starring Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet, Mark Ruffalo, Elijah Wood, Kirsten Dunst, etc, etc. It's got a good cast. So the film follows 2 lovers, or former lovers, played by Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet, who's both had a procedure in order to erase the memories of their previous relationship with each other because it broke up, so they're both kind of miserable from it and they don't want to remember it. The cat's joined us. Anyway, yeah, I thought this was a cool concept because I feel like this is something a lot of people would do if they went through a breakup. You know, you just want to get rid of the pain and the memories, so you would do this procedure. I feel like a lot of people would. I feel like I probably would if I was in the situation, you know, fuck it, just to wipe it all away. And I think it was a cool concept. It added a cool flip, a cool switch on a typical romance movie because it's bringing in something that doesn't exist, but then it doesn't feel like it's too alien or too out there. It feels like something that is a plausible concept. And the movie is told in a strange order. It kind of starts at the end and then it cuts like back and forth to show where things went wrong in their relationship, why it ultimately failed, why they drifted apart, and why they both ended up getting the procedure. And it's cool because this allows you to sort of piece the puzzle together, the movie together, and figure out what's happening when certain scenes are happening. I thought all performances in this were really good. You know, a lot of people, it's like early in their career, kind of like Mark Ruffalo and Kirsten Dunst and stuff like that, but it was a really cool movie. And the ending was kind of sweet. I guess it's what you'd call a happy ending. Yeah, you know, it's something that's unpredictable. And it's nice as these 2 people kind of reunite and fall in love all over again. You know, I don't watch a lot of romance movies, but I like stuff like this where it has like a cool concept going on, you know, where it's not doing the cliche romance movie. It's doing something a little different. Of course, we don't know if they're gonna be together because obviously they've forgotten why they like broke up the first time, but it's like they're meant to be together, you know, despite them getting their minds wiped of memories from each other, they still end up back together because they want to be together. I really like this movie. I thought it was good. I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. Good time. This is the next one. This is far from a romance movie. This stars Robert Pattinson. This is from 2017. Now, Robert Pattinson plays a character called Connie. He is trying to get his mentally challenged brother out of prison after they both did a bank robbery that went wrong. Now, from the start, you feel very bad for his mentally challenged brother, who's played really well by actually one of the writers or directors. You can see Connie cares a lot for his brother, and he does want what's best for him, but he doesn't know what's best for him. You know, he shouldn't be getting him in this sort of trouble. You know, he needs other help, but Connie cares about his brother so much, and he just wants to help him, you know, so that they can sort of be free and, you know, get money and just live their own life. And everything Connie does in this movie, he does for his brother. You know, there's no doubt that he cares a lot about family. It means a lot to him, and you know, he goes to extreme lengths in this movie, and he ends up going on just like this wild adventure, this wild trip, in order to try and save his brother and just get everything sorted. You know, he crosses paths with a lot of people in this movie. You know, he goes to these extreme lengths, you know, just to save his brother, and nothing is really going to plan, but you just root for him a lot because you know what he's doing. He's doing it for good intentions. You want him to win, you want him to succeed, even though everything he's doing is illegal. The movie was very tense, it was very captivating, and I couldn't wait to see how it ended. It's not a particularly long film, it's about 1:40, and honestly it could have been longer because it was just really interesting. And Pattinson was really on top form here. I've never seen him do a role like this before because he's usually doing, you know, the sort of character he plays. He's someone who's maybe limited dialogue, or, you know, quite smart and quite, you know, organized, all that sort of thing. So it's nice to see him do this different type of role, and he did it very, very well. And the ending is kind of bittersweet. You know, it's like he does the right thing by the end in order to help his brother out, in order to save his brother, but you know, it comes at his own expense. But at the end of the day, he does what he set out to do, and that's help his brother save his brother, and he ultimately realizes what's best for him. I thought this was a really good movie, very captivating, very interesting, and really well acted. I would give Good Time an 8 out of 10. The last film I'm going to talk about is 500 Days of Summer. You've probably heard about this one. This one's from 2009, and it is another romance film. But to be fair, in the description, this is listed as an anti-romance movie. And rightly so, because it kind of shows the misery that comes with a relationship and a breakup, and it doesn't end the typical way a romance movie would, where it's like happily ever after, the 2 people are meant to be. It takes, you know, a very different route but it's what makes it feel quite real. Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zoe Deschanel, I hope I'm saying that right there. They're both great here. They're both the main characters. They felt very real. They felt very authentic. I love them both in this. And Levitt especially, I felt bad for him. He feels quite relatable. You know, obviously as a guy, I'm watching the guy and I'm like, I kind of know what he's feeling. I understand it to an extent. It's not like I've been through something extremely similar, but we've all been in a relationship and you kind of understand why he's feeling the way he's feeling. And this movie just kind of had me hooked. It's kind of similar to Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind in the sense that it cuts like back and forth between days. Obviously it's 500 Days of Summer. Summer is the name of the girl he's dating, so you kind of flip back and forth between days. You kind of start at the end and then you go to the start and then you sort of weave your way, you know, back and forth, you know, until you kind of get to like a middle section. I do like structures like this. I like the way you kind of unlock pieces of information. It's not just a linear story where you see it. It's like you wonder how it gets to that stage, and it makes you very intrigued when you go to like an earlier scene because you want to know where it starts going wrong and why it doesn't ultimately work out. And this is another movie that's kind of bittersweet. You know, I like that this movie went for a love story that wasn't meant to be. It was something that wasn't meant to work out, even though part of me did want it to because I really like both these characters and I liked them together, but ultimately they're not really meant to be together, but he believes they are and she isn't sure, so that's where the conflict comes in. And like I said, even though I wanted the happy ending, I think it was beneficial that it didn't, because then it kind of made it a bit more unfulfilling in a sense. Maybe that's the pessimist in me though. I kind of like sad endings in films. I like it when it doesn't work out, when it isn't all good. But even so, it didn't end like completely gloomy. You know, there was still kind of hope for both these characters, even after all they'd been through, even though how sort of emotionally draining it had been for both of them. They ultimately kind of get to where they need to go, and I thought it was a very fulfilling story. I thought it was very good. I thought it was a unique rom-com. Really, I did. You know, rom-com, anti-rom-com, and it had me hooked all the way throughout, and I love the characters, and this was actually a very funny movie as well. It did actually have me, you know, cracking up at times because it had that witty, dry humor at times that just felt real, and therefore I'd give 500 Days of Summer an 8.5 as well. These are three very good movies. I enjoyed them a lot, especially the romance ones. I don't know why. I think I do like a good romance movie when it doesn't feel cheesy or bullshit. Eternal Sunshine and Good Time are on Netflix, and 500 Days of Summer was on Amazon Prime. I watched it and it was like the last 2 hours it was actually on the platform, so when I finished the movie and went off, you then had to pay for it, so I guess that was good timing, meant to be, right? Yeah, let me know if you've seen any of these three movies. Of course they are. Some of them are from way back, but I had a good time with them, and I think you would too. I think they're good movies. I think they're worth watching. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Joe Square. That was 3 random reviews. I might be back again. You know, there's not loads to watch at the moment, so maybe I'll talk more about some other random movies that I see, but for the meantime, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.